For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. Oh, for each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. Oh, for each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. We are our grandmother's prayers, and we are our grandfather's dreamings, and we are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. We are mothers of courage, fathers of time, daughters of dust, and the sons of great visions. We're sisters of mercy, brothers of love, lovers of life, and the builders of nations. We're seekers of truth, keepers of faith, makers of peace, and the wisdom of ages. We are our grandmother's prayers. We are our grandfather's dreamings, and we are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. We are mothers of courage, fathers of time, daughters of dust, and the sons of great visions. We're sisters of mercy, brothers of love, lovers of life, and the builders of nations. We're seekers of truth and keepers of faith. We are makers of peace and the wisdom of ages. We are our grandmother's prayers. We are our grandfather's dreamings, and we are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. We are our grandmother's prayers, and we are our grandfather's dreamings. We are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. We are one.
Go from the point we are to where we want to be, and hopefully where we want to be is consensus, not one person or two people or five people demanding that their needs be met. And so with that, I welcome you.
We used to call those pulpit editorials, but we'll take it as a chalice lighting. I haven't had anybody give me any announcements, but if you have an announcement, you can come up to the microphone, say your name, and make your announcement. Lana?
Purposeful billboard t-shirt today. The Sunflower Music Festival starts this Friday, 8 wonderful concerts, free to the public. And on the 19th, at a jazz night, we will be celebrating Juneteenth.
Thank you.
Good morning. Just wanted to remind everyone that has signed up to come to the new 2UU class. It'll meet right after services today. We'll get our food and go to Falls Chapel. It's down the hall. Will be somebody directing you. So anyway, we're excited to have you all. So thank you.
And your name is what?
And if you haven't signed up, you're welcome. If you want to come learn more about UU history, values, principles, what we're all about. So thanks.
Thank you, Gina. Anybody else? Okay, also joys and concerns. Do we have any announcements that are any joys that people need to share? Joys. I'll share that my daughter Faye is with me here today. She's home for her summer vacation.
I feel like I'm up here about losing people through death a lot in the last couple of years. My uncle, my mother's oldest brother, we're going to lose him in the next couple of days.
Okay, that it? Okay, Bobbi Schaeffer has our story for all ages. Mama, do you love me?
Okay, here we are. My little cheat sheet here. Though often referred to as Eskimos, most native Arctic people call themselves Inuit, which means the people. The Inuit in this story live in the northern part of Alaska, where they have lived for more than 9,000 years. There are no cities in this part of Alaska. In fact, there are even few roads. This book shows the way Inuit lived many years ago. Now most Inuit live in a way that combines the old and the new. The story is, Mama, Do You Love Me? What if I ran away? Then I would be worried. What if I stayed away and sang with the wolves and slept in a cave? Then, dear one, I would be very sad. But still, I would love you. What if I turned into a muskox? Then I would be surprised. What if I turned into a walrus? Then I would be surprised and a little scared. What if I turned into a polar bear and I was the meanest bear you ever saw, and I had sharp, shiny teeth, and I chased you into your tent and you cried. Then I would be very surprised and very scared. But still, inside the bear, you would be you, and I would love you. I will love you forever and always, because you are my dear one. Somehow that seemed a little condensed.
Start in the middle.
Did we get the gist of the story, or do I need to go back? That's what I have here, Jake.
Message received.
Okay, so your parents and everybody here love you no matter what. And now, who gets to carry the lantern? Do we have a... We're going to sing the kids out. I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine.
Now we'll have the offering. Is there anybody who signed up to help with the offering today? Somebody go out and retrieve some baskets in the hall. Thank you, Carolyn. Thank you. Today's presentation is One Marriage, One Preschooler, and Two Careers is Finding Balance, an Impossible Dream, and it's being presented by two of our longtime, really favorite members, Skylar and Jake Starr.
Good morning. I'm the Skylar Starr of Skylar and Jake Starr. Before I begin, I wanted to share something that I kept returning to in our book. It's very short. Love cannot remain by itself. It has no meaning. Love has to be put into action, and that action is service. Whatever form we are, able or disabled, rich or poor, it is not how much we do, but how much love we put into doing. A lifelong sharing of love with others. All right. Bob, Uncle Bob, came to Jake and I with the idea of this program, and this is hyperbole, approximately 1 year ago. It has taken us this long to get the program done. That says more about what it's like to parent than anything Jake or I could say. Jake. In 2012, we met at a house party. You were the one who knew everyone there, and I was the one in the short yellow and white polka dot skirt. We spent hours that night talking about everything and nothing. It was a typical meet cute. It's a story I still enjoy telling people. It wasn't until later you learned how much my life had already changed in the previous few years. From a permanently life-altering illness and brain injury to an attempt to unalive myself several months before we met. My prognosis was, and remains, Living with a brain injury is an exercise in frustration for everyone involved. Before I got pregnant with Addie, I remember telling you certain things would get better. I had convinced myself completely that once there was a baby involved, I would be forced to adapt or die, organize my life, or lose my mind. I do not need to be told. I know now that that was wishful thinking. So I live with a brain impairment, and we ended up with a kiddo as sweet as she is complicated. Challenges that have shaped, or Addie comes with her own set of challenges that have shaped all our lives, including a career change for me due to needing more availability to take Addie to appointments, be able to miss work without it being a disaster, and be less stressed at work so I could handle the stress at home. Jake has historically filled the role of responsible adult at home, filling in the gaps left by my dysfunctional brain. When he couldn't do that due to being the owner of a misbehaving appendix, it highlighted many of the difficulties we face every day. I thought things would get easier as Adelaide got older. But every year, we've added new challenges. We've continuously had to make choices for Addie that will have lifelong consequences. Last week, we started putting her on a school bus every morning at 6:30 a.m. She goes an hour each way to attend preschool for 3 hours a day at Kansas School for the Deaf. And we've had many people question our decision to put a 3-year-old on a bus to Kansas City. But it's what's best for her, and we've had to make that choice. It's meant having Addie an hour away every day, Addie missing fun summer activities at daycare, and confronting our own failings as parents. My drive to become fluent in ASL spurred on by my inability to communicate with Addie's KSD teacher when I met her last week. But when? Between never-ending appointments, 37 in Kansas City since December 2019, social obligations, friends, what friends? Family obligations, competing careers, and all the typical things that come with raising a child in 2023. Whenever I mention how hard things are to someone, especially someone older than me, they're often quick to say it's just as hard as it's always been. And I vehemently disagree. We will most likely not have any more children. Things are continually becoming more expensive while social programs become more limited. We are lucky I was disabled in 2010. Otherwise, we'd struggle that much more to pay for Addie and I's health care. We are lucky we live in an acceptable school district for Addie because moving is not an option. It would be ideal to live in Olathe near Kansas City, but have you seen the cost of living there? All that says nothing of the everyday struggle to maintain a healthy marriage, keep house, and hold on to sanity. So for the last year, I've been practicing optimistic nihilism for my mental health. Lewis Lavis Webb says, optimistic nihilism views the belief that there is no underlying meaning to life from a perspective of hope. It is not that we're doomed to live in a meaningless universe. It is that we get the chance to experience ourselves in the universe we share. The optimistic nihilist looks at a world lacking meaning and purpose and sees the opportunity to create their own. Yes, everything seems worse, but that's life. In our home and in our community, we are always trying to make the right decisions, ones that will contribute to a happy, livable life. This is a short list of things I no longer expect of the future. Retirement. Unless things drastically change, I will be working until I cannot for health reasons. Global positive change to correct global warming. I will continue doing the things I can on a local scale, but I fully expect things to get worse in major ways. That anyone but ourselves, our immediate community and our family, will stand up and support Adelaide as she grows from a deaf child to a deaf adult. Happiness. I will have to work hard every day of my life towards these things. And I think it's going to get hard. Really hard. Like cry in the shower every night hard. But I choose to face this with optimism. It may not. Things could get better. But I focus moment to moment on the small things. Addie is signing more since starting KSD. She's so outgoing that I know she'll have no problem finding community wherever she goes. We're employed. We own a house. We are alive. I do not expect things to get easier, but that's okay, because nothing matters. Nothing but the things we work towards every day. Community, friends, family, our health. We just keep going.
You're great. My dearest Skylar. So this is addressed to Sky. Our path has been anything but ordinary. Oh, sorry. David, could you rewind a couple slides? Could you rewind a couple slides? Just back to the first one. Our path has been anything but ordinary, filled with challenges and triumphs that have shaped us into the resilient family we are today. When Bob first approached us, I immediately knew that our challenges may be unique, but I didn't think that they were necessarily based on modernity. He had asked, what is it like to live as a parent in the modern world? I don't necessarily think that it's much different than any other parent. You have the same challenge. You have major challenges that you have to overcome. Maybe not the same ones. I know that our perspective and our tenacity to overcome them are not. I also know that as a unique family, we do have extra challenges. And maybe that is why those modern challenges are lost through the fog. Sky, your unwavering resilience in the face of your brain injury has been awe-inspiring. I have, and many others have witnessed your strength as you've navigated countless moments of frustration. Living with somebody who remembers normally would have been too easy a quest for my life, it seems. And life has put our run through, not so much as on harden mode, but it certainly is not on easy mode. Forgiveness, patience, and trust are the name of our game here. Our beautiful daughter, Adelaide, has opened our eyes to a world of possibilities beyond our wildest dreams. Her deafness, while presenting communication barriers, has also revealed a power of understanding, compassion, and beauty that comes with silence. We have learned to listen with our hearts, embracing alternate means of connection and communication. Adelaide's presence has taught us the invaluable lessons of embracing diversity and finding strength in our differences. We have created a nurturing environment that celebrates her unique gifts and fosters her growth, reminding us that our family's journey is not defined by societal expectations, but by the love and acceptance we extend to one another. I find solace in the fact that my own unconventional... Don't die on me now. I find solace in the fact that my own unconventional upbringing has equipped me with the strength and adaptability to try hold everything together for our family. That also brings with it personal challenges. Sometimes that is a very heavy burden. Sometimes it is carried with glee. What does every parent attempt to achieve and strive for? I know that one of those things is sometimes to be a better parent than their own. Well, my father left me when I was 3 months old. So, being a better father than my own was super easy. Hold out for more than 3 months and I win. I got that one in the bag pretty quick. My friends sometimes ask, how did I come to be a good father and dad without one continuously through my life? And I know that their statement is somewhat false already. Their question is not the correct question. I had many fathers growing up. Teachers, families, friends, mentors who guided me, all who were able to give me not their version of dad, but their best version of being a father. Growing up without the conventional stability that many take for granted has taught me the value of resilience and the ability to adapt to life's uncertainties. I draw upon the lessons learned from my own journey, understanding that there is no single right way to be a family. Our uniqueness sets us apart, imbuing us with a sense of compassion, openness, and a willingness to embrace life's complexities. I think that Bob was really asking us about the modernity thing. What about modernity grants us special challenges to overcome as a young family in today's world? After much thought, I think that it really is just a different set of pressures, as I mentioned before, priorities and expectations of today. I believe it is every generation's goal to meet, if not exceed, the quality of life of their parents' quality of life. But today's world, I think, requests a dual income unless one of us were able to significantly out-earn the other. Our careers, anyway, seem to be very important. I think for many, it's not the rat race today. I think it's survival. The stagnant earning potential means that every hour we work grants us less benefit than our parents were afforded just due to inflation alone. Making career moves to increase our pay or benefits is a requirement if we are to even achieve an equivalence quality of life than our parents. I know we want to be engaged in family, community, and society, but in today's world, that means a lot. Working in the technology field means that trying to get into a higher position, and that means salary work. That brings extra hours taking away from family time and social time. And you remember when we decided to host Thanksgiving at our house with a 2-year-old? How did we pull that off again? If I remember correctly, it was very stressful, but I think we mostly got through with telling ourselves that everyone would understand any misgivings. And indeed, family is especially good at that. We have a few friends, and we love them dearly. We don't get to spend as much time with them as we like, as they can also sometimes become another layer of priorities and time constraints get in the way. Looking ahead, I know that we carry worries and fears about what lies beyond the present moment. The decision on a second child weighs heavy on our minds sometimes as societal expectations often dictate a different path. We've put off that decision as it not only involves deciding on rolling the dice for another child with disabilities of their own, but to bring forth a child in today's world. With our earning potential, is it even tenable? I know some people say, well, you know, when you have kids, you make it happen, or you just make it work. But at what quality of life? You have to make that decision. We have to make that decision. We have embraced the joys and challenges of raising Adelaide, and our love will continue to nurture her into a remarkable individual. But could we add to that? Do we have the capacity? In the face of uncertainty, worry, and fear, perseverance with unwavering faith in ourselves and each other has always pushed us through. I think this is not unlike many other families, and it isn't unique in modernity either. As we move forward, that will continue to be a trait we rely on. We have already overcome countless obstacles together, and I have no doubt that we will face the future with the same resilience and strength. Our love has transcended the boundaries of time, culture, and societal norms, and it will guide us toward a future filled with hope, happiness, and purpose. I have been thinking lately. Modernity died with the tenable idea that we could all be wiped from the face of the earth with a push of a big red button. Postmodernism is a way of life that our parents' generation lived in. Individuality, irony, and irrelevance to standardized truths clearly made their stand and still do today. I think as we make our way through this world, we should post even that. Postmodernism, I say, is more our style. Truths are and can be self-evident. There is a place of meaning, and we should not ignore it. Individuality is important, but being in community may be even more than that. Instead of disassociating with those who we disagree with, we should engage with them directly. Their differences are unique to them, but our similarities are what allow us to come together and face the toughest obstacles. I am grateful for the opportunity to share our story. Our unique family journey reminds us all that challenges can be embraced, priorities can be balanced, and attitudes can shape for a brighter future.
Well, I think Addie's very lucky to have you as her parent. Wish you the best, the very best. I'm sure you have something else you'd like to say. We have plenty of time for.
We have lots of time.
What?
We have lots of time.
Lots of time. We have lots of time, so you can say a lot in a short amount of time. Please. No. Here comes Janine.
Hold on.
It is now. I'm Janine Silsby, and as I've said many times from this position, having kids, our 43-year-old son was 6 months old when we joined here, and having a place to raise children was one of the primary reasons for coming. And not nearly the challenges, but this place, the history with that and this place is what binds me to it forever. Losing a child, having a child's death that this place got us through. And you guys didn't mention it, but Skylar was raised here. She was raised here, so she's one of ours. We have a number of members that were raised here as children, which I just adore. Well, there was something else I was going to say, but I'm also getting old. Oh, I know, that's what it was about. Getting old here and having other parents, grandparents. My oldest child that I mentioned has 2 sons, but they live in New Jersey. I am so grateful for what I call my co-grandparents that have a home there as well as in Michigan and can help much more than I can. And you didn't mention yours, but I think both you have grandparents here, and having that makes it hard to leave a place when you have that kind of help. But this place also provides grandparents to those who may not have them around locally. So thank you for your presentation. It's a history that keeps kind of going around in a spiral. Okay, it's not the same but it's similar, and we go around.
I like it when something can happen that proves a point I've been making for years, and that is that 40 years ago I was the program chair for the first time, And we were working with the visiting minister. Her name was Judith Walker Riggs out of Kansas City. And she said, Bob, you need to understand what my guiding principle has been in providing programs at her church. And she says she never forgets that every member of her congregation has at least one program in them as good or better than anything she could do. And what I believe the program committee needs to continue doing, is allowing people to tell their stories, not telling them what to say, but their own stories, so that the rest of us can learn from them. Ministers may be important. Ministers may play an important role, but the most important thing that we can do here in this group is share with each other who we are, what our needs are, what our wants are, what our hopes are, because the better we know each other, the better people we can in fact be.
Hi, I'm Adam. I really related a lot to the last portion of your guys' program. Me and my crew, we are a young family. We are kind of on the opposite end of most of the congregation. We are considering having kids. We are trying to figure out how to be a family in this kind of society. And it is just really inspiring to be able to see someone who is still actively going through it, who is a part of our generational process, and to see the resilience that you guys have. And it inspires me not to just be like, yep, this is too hard, never mind. So thank you for that.
Yeah, I always I get way over my head. It's just who I am, I guess.
Hello. Careful. I am David Starr Schaeffer. Where do I start? I mean, I got all verklempt about 30 times during that presentation, all choked up. I'm real proud of these two for different reasons. So many UU kids, and it's not just UU, it's every church, every synagogue. Kids grow up in the faith, have a great time, they're doing great, and then they leave and they go to school and they get married, some of them, and have kids, some of them, and they never come back. Skylar has been right there the whole time. Excuse me. One of our other daughters, Emily, actually worked for the UUA. She's married to someone who's not interested, and they don't do anything with their kids, which kind of grates on me. Jake, however, is another story, and I'm proud of him for other reasons. And one of the biggest reasons is that he's there, and he's been other places in the building where he's helped out. Jake told me years ago, organized religion? I'm not sure how organized UUs are. But, that's why it works. But when Jake said he was considering signing the book, you could have knocked me over with a feather. And so I'm glad you're here. Oh, thanks. I'm glad you're with her. Do I need to say anything about Addie Pearl? I mean, she's my heart. She is doing so well. And a lot of it has to do with you guys, because when she runs around here and gets up there when I'm up there and when they're up there and just feels like she's in charge, well, she is. And she's a very loved child, and I can't wait to see where she goes. I hope I'm around for a big part of it. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Rob Cook. To follow up to what several dialogues have been this morning, and specifically to Bob. Where is Bob? Must have stepped out.
He's back.
Oh, hi, Bob. Let's see, I'm in my 13th year of belonging to a men's group. We used to meet in the youth house back there. And I've become very attached to that group. And I think a lot of that attachment has to do with a value that we share in being emotionally authentic. And I would probably not be there for that long. I would probably not be a member for as long as I have been without that emotional authenticity. So it's highly important for me to share and be supportive of others in that regard. But enough of that. What I've witnessed this morning and what I continue to see up here is you all being emotionally authentic, and that's certainly what I saw today. So thank you so much for being real, for being genuine and telling your story. It was very touching. Thank you.
I'm Dennis Bosley. I just want to say, Jake, I appreciate the comment you said about do not disassociate from people you disagree with, but work with them instead. And I just appreciate it.
Hi, I'm Bobbi Schaeffer, Sky's mom. And Sky is the youngest of 7 kids. And there are times we struggled as I see her struggle now. I think an advantage that kids and their kids have now is there's more choice involved in whether you do or do not have children. And I think that's a strong advantage. We are blessed with the 7 children we have, and no matter how hard Skylar's childhood has been and early adulthood, it's worth it. I might have made a different choice in a different time, but it's definitely been worth it, as are our 12 grandchildren. And we are so proud that for 2 of our kids, we are present almost daily in our grandchildren's lives. And we're there because we want to be part of the support system that holds them up as they face their challenges. And it's a privilege to do so. I love you.
I did want to say something real quick. Just to clarify, I think people think I'm being a little dramatic when I talk about, or maybe not, but when I talk about the cost of having a child in 2023. We pay, I think, $840 a month for Addie to go to a daycare where there is a curriculum, but it is loose. And now she is only attending half days, but we still have to pay that $840 because we're paying for her place. And that amount decreases as the kid gets older. So you can imagine what we were paying for when she was an infant. And that's, I mean, child care providers deserve to make the money, more money than they do. But the decreased earning potential of everyone these days really limits the amount of kids you can have, not just for all the extra reasons, but comes down to, can you afford that kid?
Well, I wasn't going to say anything because I didn't want to be an echo chamber. But you started it, so I'm going to do it. Your comments on that really resonate with me. Morgan is 12. She'll be 13 in August. And for almost 13 years, my husband and I have said, can we do it? No. We can't. Because we can't afford any more. Because we want a house. We want to not worry about food. We want certain things, a certain quality of life for us and Morgan. We can't afford the daycare. And I don't know if you all deal with student loan debt. But I recently faced the choice, do I stay in a state or nonprofit job for that 10-year loan forgiveness? Or do I try my damnedest to go get a $250,000 a year job just so we can pay off our debt, pay our bills, and keep the dog, not have another kid? That still wasn't on the table. That required $350,000 per year between the two of us. So, yeah, it's, pardon my language, fucking hard to have more than one kid. But then I see my mom and her siblings take care of their dying siblings, their dying mother, and I think, oh my God, I don't want that for Morgan because I get to deal with that by myself. Oh, but then 5 years ago I met my half-sister. Thank goodness. She doesn't have a financial responsibility for my parents, but at least she'll be there emotionally when I get to deal with my parents passing. And I don't want that for Morgan. So, yeah, we have choice. We have a lot more choice, particularly as women, whether we have kids. But is it a choice if it means giving up so much in order to have more kids?
Yeah, I was just going to say that, yeah, the choice, it's the choice to have a kid as a couple is not just whether, to not have a kid. It's your choice as a woman to make that decision. But as a couple, it is an effective choice in the positive direction to have another kid, but it is a very big choice to make. It's not trivial. Yeah, let's just have another kid. No.
You can't just figure it out.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, it does not work that way anymore.
That's good feedback. Okay, I'll just close with a thought. We each get to define what having it all means to us. We also get to decide whether or not we have achieved what we have defined. Having it all could simply mean being glad to be alive and having the opportunity to make choices and do our best. Thank you. Go ahead, coffee.